The first thing I noticed when I walked into my bedroom was the smell, a sickly sweet perfume that didn't belong to me. My sister Paisley's signature scent. I froze in the doorway, my carry-on bag slipping from my shoulder and hitting the hardwood floor with a thud. My name is Trinity, and I had just returned from a 3-month consulting project in Seattle, eager to surprise my family and fiancé, but something was wrong, very wrong. "Hello," I called out, my voice echoing through our family's Victorian home. No answer. My room looked different. The photos on my dresser had been rearranged, and unfamiliar clothes peeked out from my closet. I stepped closer, my heart pounding. These weren't my clothes, they were Paisley's. "What the hell?" I muttered, yanking open drawers. My things were gone, replaced with my sister's belongings. The room I'd grown up in, my sanctuary, had been colonized. I grabbed my phone to call Colton, my fiancé, but stopped when I noticed a piece of paper sticking out from under the mattress. Pulling it free, I recognized Colton's messy handwriting. "My dearest P, last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you. 3 months without Trinity here has been heaven." The letter slipped from my trembling fingers. More papers scattered across the floor, dozens of love letters between my sister and my fiancé. "Trinity, is that you?" My mother's voice floated up the stairs. I quickly gathered the letters, stuffing them into my bag. "Yeah, Mom, just got back," I called down, fighting to keep my voice steady. "Oh, sweetie, we weren't expecting you until next week." She appeared in the doorway, perfect makeup and pressed clothes, as always. "I hope you don't mind. We let Paisley use your room while hers is being renovated." I forced a smile. "Of course not. Where's Colton?" I tried calling him on the way. "He and Paisley went to pick up lunch. They should be back any minute." She beamed. "Those two have gotten so close while you were away. It's wonderful how well they get along." My stomach churned. "Yeah, wonderful." Mom's phone buzzed. "Oh, that's your father. Come down when you're settled." She hurried away, leaving me alone with my crumbling world. I sat on my bed that probably wasn't just mine anymore, and pulled out one of the letters, dated just last week. "K, Mom and Dad still don't suspect anything. Trinity's always been blind when it comes to you. Remember, delete these messages after reading. Love always, P." The front door opened downstairs. Laughter drifted up. Paisley's musical giggle and Colton's deep chuckle. The sound made my skin crawl. "Babe," Colton called out, "your mom said you're home." I took a deep breath, straightened my shoulders, and walked to my mirror. The woman staring back at me looked calm, collected. Inside, I was screaming. "Coming," I called down, my voice honey-sweet. I tucked the letters deeper into my bag and headed downstairs. Colton stood in the foyer, still devastatingly handsome in his tailored suit. Paisley lounged against the wall beside him, wearing one of my old sweaters like it belonged to her. "There's my girl." Colton moved to embrace me. I let him, noting how he smelled like Paisley's perfume. "Surprise," I chirped, hugging him back. Over his shoulder, I watched Paisley's face. For just a moment, her perfect mask slipped, showing something like fear. "We brought lunch," Paisley said, holding up takeout bags. "Your favorite, Thai food." Wrong. Thai food was her favorite. Mine was Italian. But of course, she wouldn't know that. She'd been too busy stealing my life to learn such details. "How thoughtful," I said, following them to the kitchen. "I have so much to tell you all about Seattle." "Can't wait to hear everything," Colton said, his hand lingering on my waist. The engagement ring he'd given me felt like it was burning my finger. As we sat down to eat, I watched them. My perfect sister, my faithful fiancé, my doting parents. They had no idea what I'd discovered, no idea what was coming. I smiled and nodded as they chatted, playing my part perfectly. But inside, I was already planning. They wanted to play happy families? Fine. I'd play along, right until the moment I burned it all down. "More spring rolls, Trinity," Paisley offered, all innocence and light. "Thanks, sis," I said, taking one. "You know, I think this homecoming is going to be really special." And it would be, just not in the way they expected. "You're not going to believe what I found," Andrea whispered, sliding into the booth across from me at our usual coffee shop. Her laptop was already open, fingers flying across the keyboard. I'd called my coworker and closest friend the moment I could slip away from the house. If anyone could help me uncover the full extent of Paisley and Colton's betrayal, it was Andrea. She had a gift for digital detective work. "Look at this." She turned the screen toward me. I managed to recover deleted emails from Colton's work account. The timestamps go back almost a year. My coffee turned to acid in my stomach as I scrolled through the messages. Lunch dates, secret meetings, hotel reservations. A whole year? My voice cracked. "They've been doing this since before I even left for Seattle?" Andrea reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "There's more. Remember that charity gala last Christmas? The one you couldn't attend because of food poisoning?" I nodded, already seeing where this was going. "Check the email from December 23rd. The message loaded, and I felt the blood drain from my face. P. Slip the ipecac into her drink. She won't make it to the gala. Meet me there. K. They poisoned me." The words came out in a whisper. "Trinity," a familiar voice called out. I slammed the laptop shut as Paisley approached our table, all sunshine and designer clothes. "I thought I saw you through the window. Who's your friend?" "Andrea, my coworker," I said, forcing a smile. "We're just catching up on work stuff." "What brings you here?" "Just picking up Colton's favorite latte." Paisley's eyes lingered on the closed laptop. "He's been so stressed lately, planning the wedding and all." "How thoughtful of you to help with our wedding preparations," I said, watching her face carefully. A flicker of something, guilt, fear, crossed her features before her smile returned. "That's what sisters are for. Speaking of which, Mom wants us to go dress shopping this weekend." "Perfect," I said. "I can't wait." After Paisley left, Andrea reopened her laptop. "There's something else you need to see. I found emails between Paisley and your mom from last month." The messages revealed a series of transfers from my mother's personal account to Paisley's. Large sums of money that had originally been set aside for my wedding. "Mom's been funding their affair," I said, feeling numb. "Trinity, look at me." Andrea leaned forward. "What are you going to do?" I pulled out my phone and opened my calendar. "First, I'm going dress shopping this weekend. Then, I'm going to destroy everything they hold dear." "I've got more digging to do," Andrea said. "But whatever you're planning, I'm with you." Later that evening, I sat through another family dinner, watching the performance unfold. Mom gushing over Paisley's new job, Dad nodding proudly, Colton's hand on my knee under the table, while he exchanged glances with my sister. "Remember when Trinity tried to start her own business?" Paisley laughed, cutting into her steak. "Thank goodness she stuck with consulting instead. That business would have succeeded if someone hadn't sabotaged my investor meeting," I said quietly, meeting her eyes. Funny how my presentation files disappeared right before the big pitch. The table fell silent. Paisley's fork paused halfway to her mouth. "Ancient history." Mom waved her hand dismissively. "Paisley, tell everyone about your promotion." My phone buzzed. A text from Andrea. "Found security footage from the hotel they use. Last meeting was 3 days ago. Sending now." I excused myself to the bathroom, watching the video with shaking hands. There they were, my sister and my fiancé, caught in an intimate embrace in the hotel lobby. When I returned to the table, Colton pulled me close and kissed my cheek. "Everything okay, babe? You look pale." "Never better," I smiled, noting the faint trace of Paisley's lipstick on his collar. "Just thinking about our wedding. It's going to be unforgettable." Speaking of the wedding, Mom beamed. "I've been working on the seating arrangements with Paisley. She has such an eye for these things." "I'm sure she does," I said, raising my wine glass. "To family secrets. I mean, family success." Paisley's glass trembled slightly as she raised it. Our eyes met over the rim, and I saw it, the first crack in her perfect facade. She knew I knew something, but she had no idea how much. My phone buzzed again. Andrea had found more evidence, more betrayals to uncover. The web of lies was unraveling thread by thread. More wine, anyone? I offered, playing the perfect hostess while plotting their downfall. Sometimes revenge is best served with a smile. You look stunning, sweetheart. Mom wiped away tears as I twirled in the wedding dress. The boutique's three-way mirror reflected my image back at me. A perfect bride in white lace. A beautiful lie. Paisley circled me like a shark, adjusting the train. The neckline's all wrong. Maybe something more conservative. I think it's perfect, I said, meeting her eyes in the mirror. Don't you want your big sister to look her best walking down the aisle, Paisley? She flinched slightly, but recovered quickly. Of course, I just want everything to be perfect for you and Colton. My phone buzzed on the nearby chair. Another message from Andrea. Found the joint bank account. They've been planning to buy a house together using your wedding money. Trinity? Mom's voice snapped me back to reality. Should we put down the deposit for this one? Actually, I smiled. I think I need to try on a few more. Paisley's right. Everything needs to be perfect. While Mom chatted with the consultant, I cornered Paisley by the accessories display. That's a gorgeous necklace you're wearing. New. Her hand flew to her throat, touching the diamond pendant. Oh, this old thing? Just a birthday gift. Funny. I picked up a nearby tiara, examining it casually. It looks exactly like the one Colton said he was buying for our first anniversary. Even has the same inscription on the back. The color drained from her face. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't you? I leaned closer, keeping my voice low and sweet. The inscription reads, "Forever yours, Kay." Would you like me to read what's on yours? Before she could respond, Mom called us over to look at veils. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur of tulle and tension, Paisley growing increasingly nervous while I maintained my mask of bridal bliss. That evening, Colton took me to dinner at our favorite restaurant. Or rather, what he thought was our favorite. It was actually Paisley's preferred spot. To us, he raised his glass, flashing that charming smile that once made my heart race. Now it just made my skin crawl. To us, I echoed. Oh, that reminds me. I stopped by the bank today to discuss our joint account. His fork paused, halfway to his mouth. What? The wedding fund, I clarified, watching him squirm. The teller mentioned some unusual transfers. Isn't that strange? Must be a mistake, he said quickly. I'll look into it tomorrow. Please do. I smiled. By the way, I ran into Julian today. You remember my cousin? He's a real estate agent now. Mentioned something about a house you were interested in. Colton's knuckles went white around his wine glass. Just browsing options for our future. How thoughtful, I said, pulling out my phone. Actually, Julian sent me the listing. Beautiful place. 3 bedrooms, garden. Funny though, the application has your name and Paisley's on it. Must be another mistake, right? The silence stretched between us like a rubber band about to snap. Finally, Colton cleared his throat. Trinity, I can explain. No need. I cut him off, standing up. I'm feeling a bit tired. Wedding planning, you know, such a draining process. Let me drive you home, he offered, desperation creeping into his voice. I'll call a cab, I said, dropping my napkin on the table. Oh, and Colton, that lipstick on your collar, wrong shade for me, but it matches Paisley's perfectly. I walked out, leaving him stammering at the table. Outside, I texted Andrea. Time for phase 2, send everything to Julian. When I got home, I found Mom in her study, poring over wedding magazines. Mom, can we talk about the wedding budget? Of course, sweetie. I've been meaning to tell you. Some of the funds are temporarily unavailable. Transferred to Paisley's account, you mean? I asked innocently. She froze, papers slipping from her fingers. How did you? No, I finished for her. I know everything, Mom. Every transfer, every lie, every time you chose her over me. The only question is, why? Trinity, please, she started, but I was already walking away. Don't worry, I called over my shoulder. All will be revealed at the engagement party next week. I'm planning quite a show. In my room, my real room. which I'd reclaimed by simply moving Paisley's things to the garage. I pulled out the growing file of evidence: bank statements, emails, photos, hotel receipts, each piece a bullet in the gun I was about to fire. My phone lit up with a text from Paisley. "We need to talk," I replied with a single word: soon. The mask was becoming heavy, but I'd wear it just a little longer. The engagement party was only days away, and I had one final act to prepare. They wanted a show. I'd give them a performance they'd never forget. "You need to stop this, Trinity." Julian cornered me in the kitchen during Sunday brunch. "Whatever you're planning, it's going to destroy this family." I continued arranging cookies on a plate, not meeting his eyes. Funny how nobody worried about destroying the family while they were betraying me. "Look," he lowered his voice as footsteps approached. "I found something else while looking into that house purchase. Something about your birth certificate." "There you are." Paisley burst into the kitchen, her smile too bright. "Mom's asking for more coffee." Julian gave me a meaningful look before stepping out. I filed away his words for later investigation. "We need to talk," Paisley said once we were alone. "About the engagement party." "What about it?" I asked, adding more cookies to the plate. "Worried about something." "Stop playing games," she hissed. "I know you know about Colton and me." I turned to face her, leaning against the counter. "Do you remember my 8th grade graduation, when I was supposed to give the valedictorian speech?" She blinked at the sudden change of subject. "What?" "Someone replaced my speech with blank pages right before I went on stage. I looked like an idiot in front of everyone." I picked up a cookie, examining it. "That was you, wasn't it?" "We were kids," she said dismissively. "What does that have to do with—" "And my college acceptance letter to Yale? The one that mysteriously never arrived, making me miss the enrollment deadline." Color drained from her face. "Trinity, my whole life you've been sabotaging me, but stealing my fiancé? That's a new low, even for you." "It's not like that." Paisley grabbed my arm. "We fell in love. We didn't mean to hurt you." I jerked away from her. "Save the performance for someone who still believes your lies." "What are you going to do?" Fear crept into her voice. "Nothing," I smiled. "I'm going to serve these cookies, plan my engagement party, and be the perfect bride-to-be, just like you've always been the perfect sister." Back in the living room, Colton was showing Dad something on his phone. "Look at this investment opportunity. Could double your money in 6 months." I froze. Andrea's latest text flashed through my mind. "Found evidence of investment fraud. Colton's been scamming your dad." Sounds interesting," I interrupted, setting down the cookies. "Dad, didn't you mention wanting to invest in my old business plan, the one that fell through?" Dad shifted uncomfortably. "Well, yes, but Paisley convinced you it was too risky," I finished. "Yet here's Colton, with an opportunity that sounds too good to be true." "It's completely legitimate," Colton said quickly. "I can show you the paperwork." "Like the paperwork for the house you're buying?" I asked innocently. "The one with the fraudulent loan application." The room went silent. Mom's coffee cup clattered against its saucer. "What house?" Dad asked. "Oh, didn't Colton tell you about the property he and Paisley are planning to buy? With money from my wedding fund." "That's enough." Mom stood up sharply. "Trinity, stop creating drama." "Drama?" I laughed. "You want to talk about drama? Let's talk about the money you've been funneling to Paisley from Dad's retirement account." Dad's head snapped toward Mom. "What?" "She's lying," Mom said quickly. "Trinity's always been jealous of her sister." "Am I?" I pulled out my phone. "Should I show everyone the bank statements?" "Don't," Paisley whispered. "Why not? Isn't this what perfect families do? Share everything?" Julian stepped between us. "Trinity, remember what I said about the birth certificate?" "Not now," I cut him off. But Colton caught it. "What birth certificate?" "Nothing," Julian said quickly. "Forget I mentioned it." But I saw something flash across Mom's face. Real fear this time, not just anxiety about exposed secrets. "Mom," I asked slowly, "is there something else you want to tell me?" "This conversation is over," she announced, standing up. Trinity, I don't know what's gotten into you lately, but it stops now. You're right, I said, gathering my things. It stops at the engagement party. Everything stops then. As I walked out, I heard Paisley burst into tears. Her trademark move when things didn't go her way. But this time, it wouldn't work. My phone buzzed. Andrea, again. Found the birth certificate Julian mentioned. You need to see this now. I glanced back at the house, where my family was probably already spinning stories to explain away my behavior. They had no idea that their perfectly crafted lies were about to come crashing down. And apparently, the biggest lie of all was still waiting to be uncovered. I'm not actually their daughter. My hands shook as I stared at the documents spread across Andrea's kitchen table. How is this possible? According to these records, Andrea pointed to a highlighted section. You were adopted. But there's more. Look at the date on your adoption papers compared to Paisley's birth certificate. The dates were just 3 months apart. They adopted me right before Paisley was born. Your mom was pregnant with Paisley when they adopted you, Andrea confirmed. But here's the weird part. They never registered your adoption properly. Legally speaking, you're in limbo. My world tilted sideways. That's why Mom always favored Paisley. She's their real daughter. Trinity, Julian's voice, came from Andrea's doorway. I hadn't even heard him come in. I see you found out. You knew? I spun to face him. All this time, he sat down heavily. I overheard my parents talking about it years ago. But there's more to the story. Your biological mother. My phone rang, cutting him off. Colton's name flashed on the screen. Don't answer it, Andrea warned. But I did anyway. Trinity. Colton's voice was urgent. We need to talk about everything. Meet me at our spot? You mean you're in Paisley's spot? I asked coldly. The hotel downtown. Silence. Then, please. There's something you need to know before the engagement party tomorrow. I hung up and turned to Julian. Tell me about my biological mother. He shook his head. Not my story to tell. But maybe it's time you asked your parents directly. Oh, I will. I stood up, gathering the documents. At the engagement party, in front of everyone. Trinity, Julian caught my arm. Be careful. Some secrets are buried for a reason. That evening, I sat in my car, outside my parents' house, watching through the windows as they hosted their weekly bridge club. Mom was laughing, Dad was pouring wine, and Paisley was charming the guests as usual. My phone buzzed with a text from Colton. Please meet me, I'm begging you. Another text came through, this one from Paisley. Whatever you're planning tomorrow, don't. You have no idea what you're about to unleash. I started typing a response when a knock on my car window made me jump. Dad stood there, looking concerned. Can we talk? He asked after I rolled down the window. I nodded, and he slipped into the passenger seat. Your mother doesn't know I'm out here, he said quietly. But I saw the adoption papers in your room. Were you going through my things? I was looking for evidence of what you've been planning. He sighed. Trinity, there are things about your adoption, complications, that could hurt a lot of people if they come out. Like the fact that it wasn't legal? I asked sharply. He flinched. Who told you that? Does it matter? What I want to know is why. Why adopt me just to treat me like a second-class citizen in my own family? It wasn't supposed to be like that, he whispered. We loved you, love you. But your mother, when Paisley came along, save it, I cut him off. Save it for tomorrow, when everyone can hear the truth. Please, his voice cracked. Don't do this to your mother. My mother, I laughed bitterly. Which one? The one who gave me up, or the one who never wanted me? Dad reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Just answer one thing. Does Paisley know? No, he said firmly. She has no idea. My phone lit up again. Andrea. Found your biological mother's current address. You're not going to believe this. Go back inside, Dad, I said, starting my car. I'll see you all tomorrow at the party. Trinity. Don't worry, I smiled grimly. I've arranged everything perfectly. Catering, decorations, music. and just enough truth to blow this family apart. As I drove away, I watched him in my rearview mirror, standing alone in the darkness. My phone kept buzzing. Colton, Paisley, Mom, all trying to prevent tomorrow's inevitable explosion. But they were too late. The invitations were sent, the evidence was prepared, and in less than 24 hours, every carefully constructed lie would come crashing down. I pulled into my apartment complex and noticed a manila envelope tucked under my windshield wiper. Inside was a single photograph, me as a baby, being handed to my parents by a woman whose face was scratched out. On the back, in unfamiliar handwriting, "Stop digging. Some truths are better left buried." But I was done with buried truths. Tomorrow, everything would come to light, no matter the cost. The engagement party wasn't just going to be the end of my relationship with Colton. It was going to be the end of everything. The country club ballroom sparkled with champagne glasses and fake smiles. I stood at the entrance, watching my carefully arranged dominoes prepare to fall. Andrea stationed herself near the AV equipment. Julian hovered by the bar, and my family scattered around the room, all trying to act normal. "You look beautiful." Colton appeared beside me, reaching for my hand. I let him take it, noting how he was sweating. "Nervous about something?" I asked sweetly. Before he could answer, Mom clinked her glass for attention. "Welcome, everyone. We're here to celebrate the engagement of my beautiful daughter, Trinity, to Colton." The crowd applauded. Paisley stood in the corner, clutching her champagne like a lifeline. "Actually," I stepped forward, "I'd like to say a few words." Mom's smile faltered. "Perhaps later, dear. The caterers." "No, now is perfect." I moved to the center of the room. "I want to thank everyone for coming to celebrate love, family, and truth." Andrea dimmed the lights slightly, right on cue. The projector screen lowered behind me. "First, let's talk about love." I clicked the remote. Photos of Colton and Paisley appeared on the screen. Their secret meetings, hotel rendezvous, intimate moments they thought no one would see. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Mom dropped her glass. "Next, family," I continued, switching to bank statements and transfer records. "Mom, want to explain why you've been emptying Dad's retirement account into Paisley's name, or why my wedding fund was used to purchase a house for my sister and fiancé. Trinity, stop this immediately." Mom's voice shook. "Oh, but we haven't gotten to the best part yet, truth." I pulled out the adoption papers. "Let's discuss why you never legally registered my adoption. Was it because you were too busy preparing for your real daughter's arrival?" The room went deadly silent. Paisley's face had gone white. "What is she talking about?" she whispered. "Don't." Dad stepped forward, but I was already pulling out the photograph from my windshield. "This was left at my car last night. Mom, care to explain why you scratched out the face of my biological mother, or should we ask your sister Rachel to explain?" Mom staggered backward. "How did you find out that my real mother is my aunt?" I held up my phone. "DNA doesn't lie, Mom. Rachel's daughter, that's me, isn't it? Your own sister's child, adopted in secret to hide her teenage pregnancy. No wonder you resented me." "I never resented you," Mom protested weakly. "Really?" I laughed. "Then why did you let Paisley systematically destroy every opportunity I ever had? Why did you help her steal my fiancé?" "That's not what happened." Paisley finally spoke up. "Colton and I fell in love. We never meant to get caught." I interrupted. "Is that why you applied for a marriage license last week?" Colton's head snapped toward Paisley. "You did what?" "Oh, she didn't tell you?" I smiled. "Guess she was playing both of us." "Enough." Dad's voice boomed across the room. "Trinity, you've made your point." "Have I?" I turned to the gathered guests. "Everyone here thinks we're the perfect family. Mom the socialite, Dad the businessman, Paisley the golden child, and me, the adopted mistake they never wanted." "That's not true," Dad said softly. "Then explain this." I projected one final document. A trust fund, set up the day Paisley was born. Every penny that should have been split between us, given solely to her. Every opportunity every advantage, every piece of love, all reserved for your real daughter. Paisley started crying, her perfect mascara running. I swear I didn't know you were adopted. Save your tears, I snapped. They won't work anymore. Trinity, Julian stepped forward. Your biological mother, Rachel, she's here. The crowd parted, revealing a woman who looked startlingly like me, standing near the back of the room. I got your invitation, she said quietly. I thought it was time. Mom let out a choked sob. Rachel, please. No more secrets, Sarah. Rachel cut her off. Trinity deserves the truth. I stared at the woman who gave me away, at the mother who never wanted me, at the sister who betrayed me, and at the man who played us all. The truth? I picked up my champagne glass. Here's the truth. This engagement is over. This perfect family facade is over. Everything is over. I dropped my glass, letting it shatter on the floor, and walked toward the exit. Behind me, chaos erupted. Accusations, crying, demands for explanations. But I didn't look back. I'd lit the match and watched it all burn. Now it was time to walk away from the ashes. Wait, Rachel's voice followed me into the parking lot. Please, just give me 5 minutes. I turned to face my biological mother, really looking at her for the first time. Same green eyes, same dark hair, same stubborn chin. It was like looking into a mirror of my future. Why now? I asked. Why not any time in the last 29 years? Because your mother, Sarah, made me promise to stay away. Rachel stepped closer. She threatened to tell everyone about the pregnancy if I ever contacted you. And that was enough to keep you away. I was 16, Trinity, scared, alone. And your mother, she convinced me it was best for everyone. The country club doors burst open. Paisley ran out, mascara streaking down her face. Trinity, please, I didn't know about any of this. Which part? I asked coldly. The part where you're not my sister, or the part where you were planning to marry my fiancé? I love him, she whispered. I know it's wrong, but I love him. And the sabotage, the stolen opportunities, was that love too? Before she could answer, Colton emerged from the building. Trinity, baby, let me explain. Explain what? I rounded on him. The fraud? The affair? Or the fact that you were planning to steal my inheritance once we were married? His face went pale. How did you find the paperwork? I pulled out my phone, showing him the screenshots. You should really use stronger passwords. Mom and Dad appeared next, followed by what seemed like half the party guests. Trinity, Mom reached for me, but I stepped back. Everything I did was to protect this family. Protect? Rachel scoffed. You stole my daughter to hide your own shame, then punished her for existing. I gave her everything, Mom shouted. No, Dad's quiet voice cut through the chaos. You gave everything to Paisley. We both did, and we were wrong. Paisley's sobs grew louder. Daddy, please. The trust fund, he continued. The opportunities, the constant favoritism. We created this mess, all of it. And now it's blown up in your faces, I said. Just like I promised it would. What do you want? Mom asked desperately. Money? The house? What will it take to fix this? I laughed bitterly. Fix this? You can't fix 29 years of lies with a checkbook, Mom. Or should I even call you that? I raised you, she whispered. No, you tolerated me. There's a difference. Colton stepped forward. Trinity, whatever you think you know about me and Paisley, save it. I cut him off. Andrea found your offshore accounts. The FBI will be very interested in those, along with the investment scams you've been running. His face went from pale to gray. You wouldn't. I already did. Check your phone. He pulled out his phone, hands shaking. One look at the screen, and he bolted for his car. Colton, wait, Paisley called after him. But he was already gone. He was using you too, Paisley, I said quietly. Those investment documents. He was planning to take everything. From you, from Dad, from everyone. Rachel touched my arm gently. Come with me. We have so much to talk about. Trinity, please, Mom begged. We can work this out as a family. Family. I gestured to the chaos around us. This isn't family. This is a web of lies that's finally fallen apart. Then let's rebuild, Dad suggested. Start over, with the truth this time. I looked at them all. Mom's desperate face, Dad's regretful one, Paisley's tears, Rachel's hope. The truth is, I said slowly, I don't want any of it anymore. Not the lies, not the competition, not the fake perfection. I'm done. What are you saying? Paisley whispered. I'm saying goodbye. I turned to Rachel. I'd like to know you, but not now, not like this. She nodded understanding. I'll be here when you're ready. I walked to my car, aware of their eyes following me. Andrea appeared at my side, slipping me a thumb drive. Everything's backed up, she whispered. And the FBI really is interested in Colton's accounts. Thank you. I squeezed her hand. For everything. As I drove away, I watched in my rearview mirror as my carefully constructed explosion settled into rubble. Mom collapsed into Dad's arms. Paisley sat on the curb, with her head in her hands, and Rachel stood alone, watching me leave just like she had 29 years ago. But this time, it was my choice. My terms. My freedom. Sometimes, the only way to fix a broken family is to walk away from the pieces. The morning newspaper headline read, "Local investment banker arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme." I sipped my coffee, watching the sunrise from my new apartment's balcony when my phone buzzed. Did you see the news? Andrea texted. Colton's going away for a long time. Another text came through, from Paisley. Can we talk, please? I hesitated, then replied, coffee shop on 5th, 30 minutes. When I arrived, Paisley sat alone at a corner table, looking nothing like her usual polished self. No designer clothes, no perfect makeup, just raw honesty in her eyes. I sold the house, she said as I sat down. The one Colton and I, well, you know. Smart move. The FBI interviewed me yesterday. She twisted her napkin. I had no idea about the fraud. He was stealing from me too. I know, I said quietly. That's why I made sure they knew you weren't involved. Her head snapped up. You did that for me? After everything. Despite what you think, I never wanted to destroy you, Paisley. I just wanted the truth. Mom's in therapy, she offered. Dad moved out temporarily. And Rachel, she asks about you. How are you handling that, finding out we're actually cousins? Honestly, she gave a weak laugh. It explains a lot. Why Mom always pushed me so hard to be perfect. Why she couldn't stand seeing you succeed. The barista brought our drinks. She'd ordered my actual favorite, not hers. You remembered, I noted. I'm trying to remember a lot of things, like how it felt before I started competing with you. Before I let jealousy turn me into someone I hate. My phone buzzed. Dad. The divorce papers came today. Can we meet? Dad, Paisley asked. I nodded. They're getting divorced, she continued. Mom's secrets finally broke them. And us? What broke us? I did, she whispered. I broke us. And I'm so sorry, Trinity. Not just for Colton, but for everything. Every opportunity I stole, every moment I ruined. The valedictorian speech? I was jealous. You were always smarter, always stronger. Mom's pressure to be perfect. I couldn't handle it. The door chimed, and Rachel walked in. She stopped short, seeing us together. I can come back. She started to turn. Stay, I said. Please. She joined us, creating a triangle of complicated relationships and shared pain. I signed the papers, Rachel said, legally acknowledging I'm your birth mother, if you want them. Does this mean you're moving back? Paisley asked. I bought a house nearby, Rachel nodded. If that's okay with everyone. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time. I understand if you never forgive me. But please know I'm trying to change. I showed them the text. She is trying, Paisley said softly. The therapist says she's finally dealing with her own childhood trauma. And you? I asked Rachel. Are you dealing with yours? Every day, she reached for my hand. Starting with making amends to you. The morning light streamed through the window, illuminating our three faces, so similar, yet each marked by different choices. I can't promise forgiveness, I said slowly. But maybe we can try something new, something honest this time. Like what? Paisley asked. Like being real family, no competition, no lies, no perfect facades. I'd like that. Rachel squeezed my hand. Me too. Paisley wiped away a tear. More than anything. My phone buzzed one final time. Andrea. FBI needs to meet again. Colton's naming names. You okay? I looked at these women. My cousin, who used to be my sister, my aunt who used to be my mother, and my mother who used to be a stranger. Each of us broken by the same lies, each of us choosing truth over perfection. Yes, I texted back. I'm okay. Because sometimes family isn't about who raised you or who shares your blood. Sometimes it's about who stands with you in the rubble, ready to build something new. So, I said, raising my coffee cup, where do we start? With the truth, Rachel suggested. With forgiveness, Paisley added. No, I shook my head. We start with acceptance of who we are, what we've done, and what we can become. The morning light grew stronger, washing away the shadows of our past. We weren't perfect, we weren't even whole yet, but we were real. And maybe that was the best revenge of all.